light is bright. Let me just turn that down a little bit. Is that better? I think so. Yes. Hello. Another live. Oh, let's stop this music. Weekend. It's over. Yeah, we're back again for another live. This is not a cooking demonstration. I'm just finishing up preparing my dinner for the Saturday night. We are going to be chatting with the one and the lovely Dr. Candice, who I've touted as the real MVP at THI, and I firmly believe that. For any one of you who are looking to take your workout plans, your weight loss plans, any of that stuff to the next level, an introduction to her is super, super important. And when we get back to things, we're going to take care of that. How are you, Mr. Saunders? Nice time, long time no talk. I hope you're well. It's been a minute since I've actually seen you on here, but I hope everything's good with you, sir. And here comes Dr. Candice right now. Hi. Let's get you in here. Hello, hello, hello. Hi. I'm joining you in the...
Say that again?
I said I'm joining you in the kitchen, but my kitchen.
Oh. Fabulous, fantastic.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. Making some soup because it's freaking freezing outside.
Yeah, I'm wearing my sweater today.
It's crazy.
It's winter.
Why? Why is it winter?
Mother Nature's trying to keep us inside.
Yeah, it's Mother's Day, so I guess that's it. I don't know.
It'll be nicer tomorrow, so.
That's what they said?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm excited about that.
Hi, friend.
Hi, Sherry. How are you?
Hopefully her Wi-Fi is working today. She watched the whole thing. West End Wi-Fi is suspect. Ask her about it. Ask her about it. Les, I don't want to take up too much of your wild Saturday nights that you have all these amazing plans to do. But as much as, with regards to your...
I have a Zoom call in an hour.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm joking.
That's perfectly fine. I'm going to take up 59 minutes of your time. Because... Yes, Clea, I see you, Clea. I really think that these forums, specifically for yourself, is very helpful because people always ask questions about what a naturopathic doctor does, how can they help me. So as per you, please introduce yourself, tell everyone what you do, and then let's get into our edu chat for the night.
Okay, so hi guys, my name is Dr. Candice. I'm a naturopathic doctor and I work at the Health Institute, of course. I have a special focus in women's health and performance medicine. Essentially, I love to help athletes and powerhouse women perform optimally. So for any of you who don't know what a naturopath does, essentially we treat medical concerns naturally.
Perfect. I love that. And I'm getting better in the sense of I am going to be recording this video and I'm going to have it available to play in our studio that I miss very much, and people will be able to watch this great stuff. So I apologize. Last week, I really wish I had remembered to record it, but if you could remind me
to make sure I recorded it.
I think I did, but I wasn't sure. But my point is, sisters, how are you? Okay, so as we were talking this afternoon, and I always want you to correct me because I always like, just do this. And you're just like, well, that's such a broad scope.
Yeah.
For tonight, I want to talk about guys and girls in terms of how you treat them differently. So go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so there are so many factors when it comes to men versus women's health. That's why I was sort of like, where do you want me to focus when it comes to this? But I think that what I'll talk about is sort of the like a broad view of like, what the top things that men deal with are versus women, and what I see in practice. I think what I see in practice and what people are really interested in is sort of the hormonal aspect of things. But I do also want to get into sort of all of the social, behavioral, all those other factors that matter when it comes to the differentiation between men's health and women's health.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask a silly question, but I want you to address it because I bet you there's some guys out there that are thinking the same thing. Do men have hormones that control their, not just their mood, but their growth, their stress level? Is that something that is common within men as well?
Yes. Do men not know that? Your body is governed by hormones, and if you can think of them, it's like an intersecting highway. So if you can see like all the cars on the highway like zooming past each other back and forth, like if you can picture like an aerial view of a highway, it's like interconnected and always moving. So I think when people think about hormones, they think predominantly about the sex hormones, so testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, but so one thing, men and women have all of those hormones. And the other thing is that there are other hormones. So there is cortisol, there is thyroid hormone, there's insulin. So all of these things are sort of governing our organs. And today, I think what we're going to talk about mostly is the sex hormones.
Okay. Seeing how everyone's in quarantine and they're not doing that unless you're with your partner. But anyway, go ahead.
That's different.
I'm just saying.
Themselves.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so first I wanted to start off with the definition of health and the definition of like men's health and the definition of women's health. So they're essentially the same definition, but you just sort of insert, men or women. And health is considered the state of complete physical, mental, social well-being as experienced by a man or as experienced by a woman, and not merely the absence of disease or illness. This can be related to a female or a male's physical structure or their hormones, but it also deals with conditions that are common to both sexes, but that uniquely manifest in men versus women. So when I say things like uniquely manifest, there are things that women and men experience, but they experience them for different reasons. So osteoporosis is a good example. Women have estrogen and it is protective against bone loss, for example. So both men and women can experience osteoporosis. But you'll see in women, there's sort of like a huge influx of it after menopause. And that's because we're losing a lot of our estrogen, that protective thing that we have against bone loss. So, you got to think about stuff like that and not just the hormones. That was a hormone example, but there are other reasons why men experience things more than women and women experience things more than men. So, a lot of the top things that men and women suffer from. What are you making, by the way? So distracting. Oh yeah, you're making soup. I forgot.
Sorry.
Cardiovascular disease, top for both men and women. Things like diabetes. Liver disease is higher on the men's side. Respiratory illness is also higher on the men's side, and that's mostly attributed to risky behaviors. So men are more likely to exhibit risky behaviors. Potentially that might be because of the testosterone, but maybe not. Why do you think that is, Dr. J?
Because mans don't listen.
Yes, that's part of the reason. Another reason is, I find that so many men don't take care of themselves in terms of like doing their yearly physicals and things like that. They will wait until until there's a bone sticking out of their body to get help, or they're having like extreme pain to get help. And I think that is, one of the reasons. For example, women suffer more from depression, but men are more likely to die from suicide. And, it's not saying that those men didn't have depression, they just sort of jumped to suicide. It's probably that it's just being underreported because, men, there is sort of this cultural stigma that the man is supposed to be the stronger sex, tougher. Exactly. But guys out there, you have to, if something's wrong, tell somebody you trust, and get your yearly physicals done. It's free. We live in Canada. It's covered by OHIP. And, it's just really important in terms of, getting those health markers checked so that we can just make sure that we're, heading into our older age with a clear head and in health.
That is a very good point. What I try to do with new patients that come in, we all definitely ask, hey, when was the last time you had a physical? And I would say 8 out of 10 people say, I don't even have a medical doctor. And then, right?
Definitely.
So what I always try to encourage them to do is to put their physical with their birthday. Like everyone celebrates birthday every year. So it should be one of those things where you're giving yourself a little birthday gift. Go and see how healthy you are. But if someone doesn't have a family doctor and they want to get an overall checkup, could they come to see you to get some things done? Is that something that is permitted and encouraged by yourself and your college, more importantly?
Definitely. You can come in and see me for a physical. Unfortunately, the blood work or the workup wouldn't be covered by OHIP, but you can definitely come and see me for a full physical after your appointment, and I can also requisition blood work. So, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. I really think that people... Why do you think there's a shortage of family doctors? Like, what's the situation out there? Why do not people most have family doctors?
I think it's our health structure. We have free healthcare, and unfortunately, the supply is too high, or the supply is too low to meet the demand. So we just need more. If there was a way to, I actually saw that they were, during this COVID time, they're qualifying more foreign trained medical professionals to help out on the front line. So I think that, if something like that can sort of carry over and they can see that the education is equivalent, then, there might be those people there to service the demand.
So there might be some good that comes out of COVID, pretty much. We'll see.
I think there's a lot of good that can come out of it, actually.
I totally agree with you, but make sure people really need to pay attention to what it is presented in front of them, and gathering information that's going to be helpful to their overall health. I think really the health aspect is what needs to be emphasized, that we don't want to wait till a pandemic comes before we start getting healthy. I think that is what the message should constantly be. For everyone who is specifically in the healthcare field. But yes, getting back to our topic, what are some areas that young women, besides not young women, like student athletes or people that we generally see within our office, what are some things that you would treat them for other than sports injuries or anything else that would be a referral from one of your colleagues at THF?
A lot of the time it is maybe menstrual irregularities, so things related to your period, or this is going to send all the guys out of the room, but things related to your period, or just PMS type things, cramping, stuff like this. That's it's a reality. So that's my female clients. I don't get too many male clients who I have to, so young male clients that I do a lot of hormonal therapies or hormonal treatments for. The older ones, so yes. So in terms of that, it's a lot of like low T. So low T is the term for low testosterone, low T and estrogen dominance. So these are the guys that come in with like low libido, with potential like muscle tone loss. So they have difficulty like retaining muscle mass. So they're like softer. They have maybe breast tissue. They have abdominal obesity as well. So those are sort of the symptoms of like a low T estrogen dominance type of picture.
Okay. What age does this start happening for men? Would you say that they start losing their testosterone? Is there a specific age?
So it declines slowly as you age, but I think there's just a lot more like environmental factors and like lifestyle factors that are accelerating that. So
like
environmental factors, for example, there's a lot of what are called xenoestrogens in a lot of the chemical products that you use. So xenoestrogens are essentially chemical things that look like estrogen. They're found in your household cleaners. So all you people buying up the Lysol, check your ingredients. Household cleaners are found in personal care products, so body washes, body creams, aromatics. So even, like a Glade plug-in, for example, or candles that you burn, depending on what kind of material you're using. They're found in our diet sources. So if you're getting meat outside of Canada, can potentially have like added hormones to it. What else?
You can see all the guys running to their cupboard right now and throwing out all the nice
to make sure they don't have this
But this is
also in pesticides and heavy metal. So like environmental things in the environment as well, that you might be exposed to, like in your job, for example, or something like that. And then there's like the inherent things or the internal things that can cause your estrogen levels to be high. And one of the big things is like abdominal obesity. So the guys that have, this sort of pot belly or like fat around the abdomen, that fat is high in what is called aromatase activity. So aromatase is an enzyme that pushes the metabolism of testosterone to estrogen. So that can be one way that you are losing your testosterone, so lowering your T levels and then increasing that estrogen. And the other way is that you're not detoxing it properly. So, it can come into you from the environment. It can be upregulated by your hormones, and that abdominal fat is, it is mediated by so many factors. So like insulin resistance, if you have diabetes, diet, lifestyle, if you're not exercising, like all of those things can add to that abdominal fat, and it just sort of increases that inflammation and increases that aromatase activity. It can push the testosterone to estrogen production, and it's just sort of like a cycle. More estrogen causes more abdominal obesity or adiposity. And then if you're not going to the bathroom regularly, so if your gut health is not in check and you're not able to like excrete those hormone metabolites through your feces, then that's another added way that things can sort of add up.
Listen, and this is why I call you the MVP at THI, because if you were a regular person who used to go to their family doctor and say, hey doc, I'm just not feeling the way that I normally do as a man, things aren't working, first things first, go take pills. Like there's no talking, there's no explanation, there's no, everything that you just said there. Why do family doctors not tell their male patients this is the problem? Because I guarantee you right now, any man who's rubbing their belly and it's all the way up to here, and heard what you just said, They're like freaking out right now. They're like, okay, throw out all the chips, throw out all the Lysol. I'm going to make sure I'm going to start working out now because that just hits right home. But these guys don't do that. It's just script and on your way. So, anyways, answer that question. Why do you think that family doctors don't educate their patients the way that you just did in that amazing explanation?
I think the model of our healthcare system is not set up that way. So, it's not designed for people to be in with their doctor for, longer than like 5, 10, 15 minutes.
Terrible.
And, it's sort of that they are trained to sort of, fill a prescription, unfortunately. So there are some doctors out there that do educate on lifestyle, to a small degree, nutrition to a small degree. But I think for people, because these are really sort of like life changes that they need to make, it really takes somebody to sit down with them and, explain the great need for lifestyle changes and how to do them, how to start incorporating it into your life. So, it's easy to say it, but it's hard to execute it sometimes. So, yeah, I just think that it's not set up for that type of care.
I was driving by LCBO, like many LCBOs. I'll send you the video later. Since it's Dr. Cass, because we always cuss about how the fact that the liquor store is an essential service, but that's a whole other conversation. But man, this line is long. And this is why I feel like this is what your patient base should be like, because everyone needs this information to help better their overall health. Because you're not going to get it from Dr. Google. Definitely not going to get it from your family doctor. It's a script and move on. And that's not going to be anything of benefit, specifically to people of West Indian and African descent, because of the fact that we have such different genetic makeup, and our food that we used to eat ancestrally is different. Now we're over here and the food's completely washed down, watered down, whatever you want to call it, right? So your value is huge. And this platform is really where I want you to just drop bombs like you just did and go on and try and teach as many people about what it is that we do. And remind me to save this video, because that content that you just said, I know for sure a lot of men would love to hear it and going to make some changes right away. Is there anything else for the guys before you move on to the beautiful ladies to talk about their concerns?
So liver health is another one of those super important things when it comes, because your hormones are detoxified through your liver. And again, men with those risky behaviors, they are more likely to drink alcohol and things like that. So, exactly. So, not only alcohol, but that abdominal obesity, you're more likely to have like things like fatty liver, for example. And when your liver isn't working optimally, you can't detoxify those hormones optimally either. So there is that. And then at the end, I'm going to come around to sort of more nutritional things and like supplements that men need more so than women to support that testosterone production as well. But yeah, I think that it for men. I think, for men, it's just make sure that you're getting yourself checked, stop indulging in risky behaviors, and get those lifestyle factors in check. These are...
Hold on a second. I don't like the fact that you're saying men are doing risky behavior. Women do risky behavior too.
They do.
Front. You guys do. Don't be just throwing the mans under the bus.
So risky behaviors, they do. So yeah, it does include things like poor diet choices and excessive alcohol.
Worrying too much.
That is true.
Trying to tell mans what to do all the time. That's a whole other story. Go ahead.
Maybe if you just listen, everyone could just be, less stressed out. But
okay, Trey, sorry, buddy. Trey said we need to stop chasing y'all and go read the book. Sure, that's what you should take your own advice, sir.
Yes, Trey. Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think for men, the big hormonal concern, especially when you start to develop breast tissue and it's, then like things are sort of going over the edge, is that low T, high estrogen picture.
So wait a second.
Women, it's a little bit more complicated.
Hold up. You just said men can develop breasts?
I said that before.
Oh, that went over my head. I was chopping up vegetables. Like,
Yeah.
how does it get there to that point? How's that possible?
We have tissue that is receptive to estrogen, so
Wow.
or sensitive to estrogen. So some of that tissue is in the breasts of men too. So yeah, for men who think that they don't have estrogen, you do, and that's how it can manifest. So, Ro, if you were listening in the beginning, it can be reversed by doing those lifestyle factors. So, getting rid of that abdominal obesity is one of those things. Making sure you're taking care of your liver is another one of those things. And making sure that your gut health is in check. So, making sure that you're regular is another one of those things. So, the baseline sort of lifestyle things. But when we talk about like supplementation that can help. Essentially, you want to limit that aromatase activities. So we do what's called an aromatase inhibitor, and saw palmetto, if you've ever heard of that, is one of those things that inhibits that aromatase activity.
Wow, that's thank you, Matthias. I was trying to remember the name of that. It's called gynecomastia.
Yeah, gynecomastia.
Ooh,
Mad
geez.
boobs.
Come on, guys. That's from Seinfeld, the man's ear.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Oh, well, I thought that was a joke.
All you guys out there just like gobbling up soy milk and tofu, stop.
Holy, not enough to have food. That's not right. Let's try and be serious right now. Hopefully we're not offending anybody, We're not offending anybody. We're encouraging you to give Dr. Candace a call when we get back in the office, and you got to sort out, this is ridiculous. Mans are not supposed to have boobies. Okay?
Yeah, gynecomastia is a health concern. We're not making light of it in by any means. And there is help out there for you.
For sure. 100%. 100%. But listen, the comment, you made two things that I just wanted you to clarify. The liver. Why is it important to have it looked at, detoxified? You mentioned that a couple of times. Like what is the function of the liver? What does it do?
Okay, so you're not detoxifying your liver. Your liver is your major organ of detoxification. So I think people, when they want to go on like cleanses and things like that, and detoxes and all of that, they sort of lose sight of the fact that your liver's job is essentially to do that. So what you want to do with your liver is support it so that it's doing its job optimally. Hormones are one of the things that gets detoxified in the liver. And so you just want to make sure that one, you don't have any liver conditions like fatty liver disease, and then that you're optimizing its function. So, things like milk thistle and turmeric are really great, dandelion. So all those sort of liver supporting herbs that you think of can help to support it, but then you also want to make sure that you're getting rid of things like fatty liver, and fatty liver is easy to get rid of when you lose that abdominal fat.
Got it. Is fatty liver something that's genetically predisposed to some people? So if my grandfather had it, my father had it, I'm guaranteed to have it or no?
You're not guaranteed to have it, no, but it is super duper common.
Gotcha. Okay, and you said alcohol promotes fatty liver? Or dysfunctional liver?
So alcohol can promote fatty liver. It can also sort of promote like sluggish liver or slow down liver functioning.
Okay, I'm asking for a friend. What about ganja? Does ganja do that too?
I don't believe ganja does that. But
good to hear. Good to know. or CBD or anything like that?
I'm gonna no smoking. So ganja, smoking it, I would say probably not the best way of having it, because that smoke can increase your inflammation levels and produce a lot of oxidative damage.
Okay, fair enough. I'll tell my friend that.
All right.
What I was saying, this is some great information. More people need to hear broken down like this. I agree, Matthias. This is what I said. I need you guys to remind me to record when I speak to Dr. Candice, because I always forget, and then by the time I remember, it's gone. But this one, we're gonna say
Forget.
I'm gonna make it. Any man I know that has man boobs, I'm sending it to them. But listen. Keep going. What's next?
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the females. Where my females at? Give me some fire emojis.
Let's go.
Okay, so when it comes to female hormones and health, there are just sort of like a vast array of things that can be happening. So I'm going to sort of break it down like I did with the men, so like low testosterone, high estrogen, what that sort of picture would look like. Because a lot of women experience these things. So you can have what's called estrogen dominance. Once again, estrogen dominance can come about when you have either too much estrogen, so the production of estrogen is high, or you have too little progesterone. So essentially what estrogen dominance is a balance of the estrogen versus the progesterone. So, are you ready?
I'm ready. Listening. Estrogen dominance is a balance between estrogen and progesterone. Is that right?
Yes. And, you want to have it in an optimal ratio, essentially. So you can get out of that optimal ratio if you're producing too much estrogen, or like I was saying, you're getting it exogenously from all of those environmental factors, or your diet, or your personal care products and your cleaning supplies, or if you're not detoxing it properly, you're not going to the bathroom properly. So your estrogen levels can stay high because of that, because of overproduction or inability to detoxify them. Or the balance can be out of sorts if your progesterone is low. So
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Before you go on, just trying to grab my spoon so I can stir my soup here. Is it true that, and you mentioned this about the guys, is it true that if you're constipated, this can affect your hormonal balance? Is that what you said earlier? Can you clarify that?
Yeah. So definitely constipation is one of those things that can affect your hormones. So that's the sort of like gut health part that we're looking at. When you are constipated, essentially your hormones, they get detoxified and they get released from your body through your stool. We call that like your phase 3 detoxification. So estrogen gets detoxified in the liver through phases 1 and 2, and then we call like the elimination of it through the stool phase 3. Okay, so when it is not getting eliminated because of things like constipation, you're backed up, for example, then it can accumulate and then get recycled back into the body and, sort of upregulate those estrogen levels even more. So that can happen for both men and women. So everything I'm saying right now actually can happen for both men and women.
So it's never good to be full of shit, is basically what you're saying.
Yes, no. You always want to make sure that you're regular. So
Understood. Wow, I didn't realize that it can affect your. Well, you're right. You said that it gets basically eliminated in the bowel movement.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay. Cool.
Exactly. So yeah, if it's not getting eliminated, it can get taken back up into the body and then cause more issues if you have estrogen dominance. And estrogen dominance, what it looks like, can be like more moodiness, more irritability, more PMS symptoms. So sort of around your period, you're getting more irritable and moody. Again, yeah. Cramping. Yeah.
Question.
Oh.
Oh, I got a question. I know these guys are out there wanting to ask this question. So, is it real? This PMS thing? It's a real thing.
It's a real
you guys
thing.
are making this up, right?
I am not making this up.
So this is a real scientific fact that
It's
when
something that men will never understand. Okay.
no, we will not, because I still don't believe that it's a real thing. I think you guys are
real
being
thing.
angry. I mean, to be
How
irritable.
is it not a real thing if you experience it and you can see that this is happening on a cyclical basis every month? Anyways, moving on.
No, we're not going there again. No stumps me. This is a serious question. How is it that 1 month you guys will experience it, and then the next month you won't, and then it comes back again? Like, is it consistent? Why is it sometimes it's really bad and other times it's really not?
It might not be consistent, and that's what I was going to get to in a second.
Okay, sorry.
So I'm going to finish up my symptoms first. So cramping, more pronounced cramping, heavier periods, clotting in your periods, weight gain as well, estrogen dominance, even with the men, like I was saying, weight gain. And did I forget anything? Oh, breast tenderness. So again, breasts are estrogen sensitive tissue. So you might feel more breast tenderness or like fibrocystic breasts when you have just more estrogen. All of these symptoms, though, are not regular. So, or not normal, I would say. So,
you caught yourself right there. You caught yourself. They're not normal.
They can be regular, but they're not normal. So, not normal meaning it's a sign from your body, a sign that something is maybe out of balance or out of whack, and something that needs to be addressed. So, I usually give the example of bloating, for example. A lot of people experience bloating and it's like a daily thing or like a regular thing for them, but it's a sign from your body that maybe you're not digesting something properly, or something is just wrong with the way that you're digesting food. So these like sort of PMS type symptoms, or those more estrogen dominant symptoms that you can get even throughout your cycle, are clues to us that something might be off with the way that your hormones are fluctuating throughout your cycle, and that it needs to be addressed.
Yes, listen. All jokes aside, I do understand that this is a physiological condition, and what is interesting though is the different ways that it can be treated. It can be treated naturally. It can be treated with traditional medicine. Obviously, I hope I know what your response is going to be, but how does a young woman treat this condition that is going to happen every single month?
So for me, there would be like more natural treatments that I would introduce. A lot of it can be dietary, and there is something called seed cycling that I like to do. It's pretty, in terms of like difficult, like a strong tincture, for example, that I usually give my, middle-aged, sort of like 20 and up patients, for example. I would give them a tincture, for example, or we would do some testing to figure out exactly where along the metabolism something is going wrong. But something that is sort of simple and that like teenage girls, for example, can incorporate into their daily regimen is something called seed cycling. And it is having different seeds in different parts of your cycle. So in the first half of your cycle, you are having flax seeds and I believe pumpkin seeds. So for the first 14 days, when estrogen is supposed to dominate in that cycle, you're having seeds that help the production of estrogen, but also the elimination of estrogen. Okay. And then in the second half of your cycle, you're having sesame seeds and sunflower seeds. So the last 14 days of your cycle, you're having those two seeds, and that's supposed to upregulate progesterone production. And that is the hormone that is supposed to predominate in that half of the cycle. Does that make sense to a man?
This is fascinating for all the guys out there that have girlfriends and are suffering for the month. Or sorry,
why don't you? I heard about this thing called seed cycling.
Exactly. That's a big and give us gifts, and you guys will be on the ball. Holy cow! Okay, let's review this now. Seeds can be eaten to support hormones during. Is PMS a bad term, or is that the actual thing that it's called? Like,
so it's not for PMS. It's to regulate the hormones in your cycle. And PMS can be a symptom of hormone irregularity in your cycle.
Okay. See, I just learned something right there. And this is so funny because every year that I've been in school, from pretty much university, high school actually, grade 12, I think I've learned about the menstrual cycle every single year, and I just
have no idea. Yeah.
It just
looks like a graph to you in your head, and you're like, oh,
anytime I have no questions on the exam, I just circle C all the way through, because it just does not stick.
Yeah,
Okay.
it does take some focus to get what's happening during the cycle. Another thing is that I think a lot of women don't know that the first day of their period is day number 1 in their cycle. So that's something that I typically educate people on. So when you are counting the days, you're starting from day 1 of your period, which is day 1 of your cycle, and you're going to day 14, and that's when estrogen production